Frontline, get trial ready. So as an introduction, PD Frontline is an online study which is part of the RAPSODI GD longitudinal study. It has the prime purpose of identifying people with Parkinson's disease and testing for changes in two Parkinson's disease risk factor genes, GBA1 and LRRK2. The main aims are to identify participants eligible for clinical trials and to identify new genetic variants affecting risk, treatment and clinical presentation in Parkinson's disease.
So the main two genes we test for are the GBA1 gene and the LRRK2 gene. GBA1 gene is the most common genetic risk factor for developing Parkinson's disease. It's found in 10 to 15% of people with Parkinson's, though this is higher in the Ashkenazi Jewish background. The LRRK2 gene is much more rare, though has a higher associated risk of developing Parkinson's disease by the age of 80.
So recruitment. Participants self-register or they're referred from NHS sites across the UK. We have 22 active NHS sites currently and 9 pending approval. Sites are responsible for identifying potential candidates and referring them to PD Frontline. The participants can choose whether to share their participation and results with the team who referred them. There are several methods the NHS site can use to recruit participants. These include database searches, via clinics, through flyers, posters or newsletters.
NHS sites are distributed all over the UK. As you can see, the ones in green and the ones in orange are the ones that are in process to be finalised. Our sites have recruited a total of 1,081 of our participants.
PD Frontline has over 5,300 registered participants from all over the UK and we are still actively recruiting. Our contact details are listed on the slide here with our website and our email address should you want to get in contact. This map identifies where our participants that are currently registered are located across the UK.
Registration for PD Frontline is quick and easy and all completed online from the comfort of your home. The first thing you have to do is register your details, sign the consent form and log in. Then you answer the study questions, taking about 10 to 15 minutes to do so. We'll send you a saliva collection kit in the post, which will then return the prepaid envelope. The inclusion criteria is to be aged between 18 to 90 years old, a UK resident, clinically diagnosed with PD and have an unknown GBA status. Exclusion criteria includes a diagnosis of motor neuron disease, dementia or other forms of Parkinsonism.
So the study process. The process of taking part in PD Frontline and receiving the genetic results is outlined below. It is quick and simple and can be done from the comfort of the participant's home. So the steps typically involve registration, and then the participant receives a saliva kit, which they return, and then the initial sample sequencing commences. We analyse the results at UCL, and then we put the sample under confirmatory sequencing, and then the results are processed and released to the participant either via the phone or a report.
So for participant engagement, we have several different methods for keeping our participants updated and engaged with the study. So one of them is a webinar. So we have webinars every year. These are online events open to the public and our participants. Our last one was focused on getting involved in research and improving ethnic diversity in research. This provides an opportunity for our participants to ask questions and see how their participation is impacting our work. The newsletters we release are biannual, and they announce recent publications, new studies and trials, and any other PD Frontline updates.
Genetics and mutations. Of the 5,300 plus registered, nearly 4,000 people are active on this study. PD Frontline has identified over 190 GBA positive Parkinson's patients from the 1,350 plus genotyped since its inception. This includes 19 novel mutations. Participants who carry the GBA1 gene all receive a genetic report and a genetic counselling conversation to explain the implications of their results. This table to the side shows some of the more common mutations identified in our cohort.
So PD Frontline supports several clinical studies and trials by referring suitable participants from the PD Frontline platform, as is the purpose of PD Frontline. Some of these are listed below. PD Biome study. This is a clinical observational study investigating the link between the brain and the gut in PD. This study has completed its recruitment period and results are pending. The MRI study is not yet started recruitment. It's a clinical study investigating resting bowel motility, which is a common symptom in people with PD, recruiting both people with and without Parkinson's. GP2 is investigating the genetic architecture of PD and identifying risk factors. Aspro PD is an upcoming clinical phase 3 trial for the cough medicine Ambroxol, assessing efficacy in slowing progression of PD, and the RAPSODI study, which is a longitudinal study investigating prodromal PD symptoms in GBA1 carriers.
So some concluding remarks. We offer sequencing of the whole GBA1 gene and LRRK2 G2019S variant to our cohort. Currently, we have identified 19 novel genetic variants in the GBA gene. We have successfully referred some of our eligible participants to clinical studies and will continue to identify and support new clinical trials and studies.
Thank you to all our sponsors.